Hey, we're coming around to 27 back here, and I couldn't wait to do this explanation. I was trying to bring up time. It's going out today, all right? I posted a video earlier today. I need this to go out for the Monty stuff, so there will be details about all Monty quotes and all the locations, all that stuff. You're just gonna get little bits of audio right now. So I want you to listen to the new Wisps that were found. The channels I don't have at the top of my head right now because I was too busy doing this stuff. So look in the description. Credit is due for finding these because these are very, very obscure. So all the Wisps linked are going to be shown for the credit in the description down below. It's been a crazy trail since NGT all the way down to, I think, Starburst, and Job found some, to I think that smart guy who was streaming it again, who got to the boss fight and died a bunch of times. All of those guys are in there, plus a bunch of Redditors. I just don't know them off the top of my head, but I need to let you know that they are the ones that found the Wisps, and I'm just kind of telling you what's going on with it. Like, what the hell does this stuff mean? Well, here we go. So listen to them right now, and then we'll come back.
Max's. He was the first. The vessel you constructed for him back in World War I somehow shielded him from the influence of Element 115. He opened the portal between the worlds and, well, that's when shit really went tits up. The world within the world got turned upside down and inside out, if you can imagine such a thing. So, anyway, it was around then that I was forced to step in. Samantha, oh boy. You ever heard the phrase, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned? Well, that fury is even worse with a little girl, especially one as confused as that poor child is. She really didn't get much of a chance, did she? Right out of the gate, she was thrown into this madness before she could ever figure out exactly who she was. Still, that's all ancient history now. She's safe in the house. Okay. Here's a quick cheat sheet. You all fought in World War I. Whoopee! You were badass heroes. That was true. That happened. Later, some other versions of you ended up as lab rats in some crazy World War II experiments. Experiments that left you a bit, kind of, not that smart. Your memories were mostly erased, and you just kind of bumbled and stumbled around in time and space, oblivious to your past and future actions. You know how people say that every snowflake is unique? That every single one is an individual, a one-of-a-kind, irrefutable evidence of the miracles of Mother Nature? Well, it's not true. Snowflakes aren't all that unique. There are really only about 12 different designs. The point I'm making is that you lot are hardly one-of-a-kind snowflakes. You were fragmented across a multitude of different realities, but each and every one is basically the same. You are all you. The liar, the braggart, the drunk. The one who didn't know what he had until it was gone. The good soldier. Never disobeyed orders, never broke protocol, still kicked ass all the same. The loyal servant. A warrior out of time, born too late or born too early. Honor-bound to dying traditions. The man-child, broken and twisted by a life burdened with knowledge. Living like a soul who is perpetually drowning. You need to stop thinking in terms of originals, old and new. It's not like that. When you look in the mirror, it's still you. If you crack that mirror, you see multiple reflections. It doesn't mean you've actually multiplied, does it? Honestly, I'm not sure why I'm trying to explain it. Shit's fucked up. Please, fix it. You see, the thing is, I'm meant to stay on the sidelines, not really supposed to get involved. Free will and all that stuff. Oh, that was my idea, by the way. However, I do see stuff now and then that makes me go, ooh, that's not good. I really should do something. But the thing is, all I can really do is give things a little nudge. Sow a seed, plant an idea, see what grows, see what sticks. Where do you think all these magic weapon boxes come from? The chalk drawings on the wall, the magic ammo drops, the gumball machines? Do I need to go on, or do you get the message? I just hope you appreciate it.
All right, that might have been weird. Fair enough, okay? So we're gonna get into this, what's happening right now. So let me transition over to here. Let's stand in front of the crazy shit, and let's just talk about this. We have a normal original universe here. You see, this is just a normal one universe. Monty goes on to explain in one of his wisps that what ends up happening is this gets fractured. So imagine punching a mirror and all the glass happens. So the big thing takeaway with that is that it's infinite worlds, but it's not like every time I step here instead of there, I've created infinite new worlds. It's not that type of multiverse anymore. Thank God, no more of that. But what they have done is they've taken it from this universe. You can see there's a fracture of events. People might argue, Origins, he says Origins, what we just heard. You gotta check the context of this stuff. Treyarch leaves this stuff ambiguous on purpose. On purpose. So, let's transition to here now. We have events that fracture the universe into many different universes. Now, this is only some number, but it's supposed to show infinite. There's an infinite number of universes that resemble the original universe here. So you see, we got the original, still what it was, but it's actually fractured. So it'd actually be smarter for me if we draw, let's do this in a different color too. That would make more sense, right? We'll take this, crappy looking green here, throw up green, and we'll draw some cracks in it, all right? And with its cracks in this universe, it has splintered out into all these different universes. What is crazy is one of the Wisps confirms that World at War, everything that Jimmy Zielinski did was a fractured universe. It was just one of the many spin-offs. Also, they mentioned the whole big deal with Origins. So that's where you might be scratching your head being like, why, what about Origins, Reed? What is happening there? That's when Monty gets involved. You might be able, it gets a little hard to read toward the bottom, but I'll read it for you guys nonetheless. Monty is involved in Origins. That's what he tells us. We know that for sure. He steps in when Max just goes up to Argatha and messes things up, and that robot he built protected him from, that Richtofen built for Maxis, protected him from anything that Monty could do. Now, what's interesting is Monty is omnipotent. He's a self-proclaimed omnipotent being. He's British, by the way, and apparently the British people are God. Now, there's a twist. Treyarch is really playing with, and I don't think you can, you can see this, free will. They're really playing with the God card here. They're really starting to mess with the religion of this world, which is fascinating and interesting and feeds into the lore of zombies, but apparently Monty gave everybody free will in this fictional universe, all right? And that's why he can only give hints about what stuff's going on, what atrocities there are. Is this light really making me dark? Apologize for the cutoff there. There's a lighting issue. Anywho, let's do a real refresher here, just for me sake. Monty is now God in the zombie universe. He gave us free will in this fictional universe, and he is influencing us in little ways, planting ideas and seeds of other things about what you should and shouldn't do, but he has a very hands-off approach, and that's why things are out of his control now, because he can't interfere, because he gave this free will thing, all right? So it's an interesting perspective that Treyarch's taking this type of interpretation into a video game, and it's something that was as casual as Call of Duty has been changed dramatically. So because of what happens at Origins, Monty can't change who's safe in the house, and the house could be the children's game. So think about this. It could be at the end of Origins, the house. Origins universe, no zombies could exist in this universe. This could be the normal universe for what's been going on. So this is why we could get a Paris or an England map somewhere in there for the last DLC. The house could be the universe without any zombies. This might bleed over into this before we can solve everything again. And really, this original universe has become the fractured universe. I know, stick with me, all right? We want to get back here. Monty wants to get back here. That might not be in our best interest, all right? That's why Richtofen has these blood vials. That's what that's been all about. That somehow, if we go back here, Monty might change things. He doesn't have control over everything. He's omnipotent. He can't be everywhere. He can't monitor all these universes. and he can't sit here and pick and choose what he does and what people do and what events unfold. He's just very hands-off in this world, in this fictional world. That could allow him to be like, okay, never again, I'm gonna fix everything that's happening, all right? I wanna make sure everything works properly this time, so I'm gonna make sure we get rid of the free will when we go back to this universe, or whatever it is, right? That could be why we have that contingency plan. Monty still seems like he's pulling this extra card out. It still seems like we can't trust him. He's gonna do something bad and betray us. So, with all that said, you start seeing over here the fractured universes. As you can see, I labeled. We have World at War, the SeasonDrag, Setsubo no Shima, Gorad Krovi, the Giant, all separate individual universes we've been traveling to. The ciphers have been incredible, and they start talking about the Chronorium and the Summoning Key. Now, the Chronorium is this book of knowledge. It has the knowledge of most likely all these worlds plus the original world that was not messed up and fractured. My head's in the way. Not messed up and fractured. This world is different from this one, but this is a version of this. It's complex, it's complicated, but it's really not as bad as it once was. Like, this has got me much happier about the storyline, because all of a sudden we have a linear path about to happen, which, if you're upset about the storyline right now, it's because you don't understand what's about to happen. Treyarch has now set it up where this goes bye-bye, and we just have this beautiful universe left, and then we can always come back and visit these in separate games when this gets cut off, depending on what direction Treyarch wants to do. We can always revisit the Giant in another game, but it won't be this constant bleeding nonsense and people that don't make sense. This is why you could have Der Eisendrache, where Graf and Maxis know about everything, and World at War, where nobody knows about anything. Like, Maxis here knows about Griffin Station. Here, doesn't know about Griffin Station. Gorad Krovi, the Germans took Stalingrad, they're trying to keep Stalingrad. You have Harvey Yena doing all kinds of projects. Sophia's a computer in here. Sophia's a secretary in this universe. You see how it keeps going? But in Origins, we don't know if it's this is Origins or this is Origins. We don't know that yet for sure. It's suggested it could be this, but it just as likely could be a shattered universe as well. Sophia in here, secretary, because Origins Richtofen says that was Maxis' secretary. What's going on? This is World War I, this is World War II. This is how these things happen. And they start going through space and time. Now you might be saying, what about the next quote he was talking about? You guys keep saying you're not special snowflakes, all right? All the characters are still the same. They're all just different versions of you. Each and every one of these universes could be just a little part that makes up you. So think about the idea of, you know, what you are. If you're trying to find self-worth there, what are you? It could be as simple, you're not just good, you're not just bad. You don't have bad thoughts and good thoughts. You don't just have hungry thoughts or just empty thoughts. You have many, many thoughts in your life, many facets that make up what you are. That's what is reflected here. You have Dempsey being reflected in World at War as swearing idiot, memories wiped from testing and experiments, to down here, the loyal soldier, and everything's going right, and everything, you know, he does what he needs to do, and he's professional about what he does. All these different emotions and versions of himself are all expressed because there was one of him in this universe that got shattered, which again, originally, there's a Dempsey here. There's one Dempsey in this universe that was represented by him. That was Dempsey. But when it got shattered, now there's a lot of different versions of him that are still him. Because if you put all this back together, you'll get this and no longer have all this nonsense. This is gone once you get back to this universe. Are you with me so far? Now, more important, Monty confirmed some pretty important things I'm standing in front of, all right? Right here. Monty controls chalk drawings, power-ups, magic bops, and probably more. Now, I made a video way back when suggesting Monty actually controls the drops, and I was correct. That was kind of awesome. You can actually check out the video linked down in the description below. I was saying who was actually helping our characters. That was the whole idea. Who's actually helping our characters? Who's in control here? Actually, that was the second video. I made two theories about that, and I kept saying it looks like Monty's, this character that Treyarch has created to really wrap things up. They have essentially destroyed Jimmy Zielinski's zombies. It does not make sense anymore. It's just a fractured universe. Every time we're going back to that as the original universe, not anymore. They're creating a whole new storyline that's going to be counted as the storyline. Jimmy's had a good run, but Jason Blundell said, we're going to try and make this make sense, all right? We have too many things happening, too many inconsistencies. Here we go. We're gonna wipe the slate clean, all right? That doesn't mean that stuff didn't happen. That stuff all still happens. It's all blah, 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 blah. All still happens. But as soon as Black Ops 3 ends, no more. Everything is gonna have logic, order, canon to it. Everything is canon, but like an actual straight linear storyline, not this like, well, how come Maxis doesn't know here, but he knows there, and vice versa. What's going on? I pointed wrong, but that's all right. Next, we get into the Keepers, all right? These are all Cypher videos. I was in the works, and I need to get all the nice images and show you all kinds of stuff and do how I do my theories that are so nice. But you're getting this explosion of information now, and then I'll have more later. The Keepers were the first of the wards of the universe after they beat the Apothicons. There's a great war that happens, and they beat the Apothicons, which are fallen keepers. They're corrupted keepers. So, what's interesting about this is that there's this thing called the Dark Ether now that's been introduced. There's a good ether and a dark ether. That helps explain what the fuck the ether was in the original maps and what was going on. They made a really good way of saying there's a good and a bad ether, all right? You go to the bad one, bad shit happens. You go to the good one, good stuff happens. So that's why you hear Maxis and Richtofen going, I need to get to the ether, take control of the ether, the good ether, to have a lot of power. The bad ether is where the bad things go, where the zombies come from and stuff like that. That's where they talk about that from when you throw the Gersh device and all these things that happen, all right? So that's interesting. We have these ethers. It's another one of these dimensions. Dimensions might be on a higher level of these universes. Not drawing that. Not getting into that right now. Different video. But the Keepers were the first things, then they get corrupted by the Dark Ether. Some of them, they have this war. They turn into the disgusting looking Apothicons versus the disgusting looking Keepers. They're not disgusting. They're just, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so they're fighting, they're going rah rah. Alright, exactly that. God damn it, Reed. So the Keepers and the Apothicons are fighting. And once they're done fighting, the Keepers win out thanks to the Ancients, which are our 4 heroes. You actually hear this in another cipher by the Mexican test subject that he's hallucinating with 115. He's actually seeing a different universe or a different timeline where in the beginning, our 4 heroes, Richtofen, Dempsey, Takio, Nikolai, their original selves, quite possibly over here, beat back the Apothicons while they're fighting with Pablo. And then it suggested that he should build a castle, and that's why they built Horizon Drak to try this paradox, to start the cycle over and again. Don't worry about that right now. That's more stuff we dive down to when we get more information about it. But key points and in summary here, all right? Monty is God in this universe. Monty controls all the magic in this universe. Monty does not change things, though. He can only affect things. He can't change how people are because of free will. Keepers are the protectors of the universe, and they got corrupted by the Dark Ether, and so they've been fighting each other until this fracture happens, and that's what causes the Apothicons to come back and start fighting everybody. We know the events where Monty got involved was Origins, the ending that we played, but we don't know if Origins is the original universe. Finally, we have a good idea about the Chronorium, what it is, what dimension the summoning key was hidden in, very possibly where Shadows of Evil was, and what that entails for everything. There's a total great cipher about what the summoning key does. It's awesome. All in all, the zombie storyline is actually in the best shape it's been in a long time. Contrary to people thinking, oh, how could Treyarch introduce this Monty character and ruin everything? To me, Treyarch just played an awesome move of saying, all right, this is who's been in control. This is who's been trying to save us all. Now he's finally interacting with your characters, almost like talking to them like, you know, I hear God. Well, here we go. This is how it's happening to our characters, and they're supposed to save it all in the next DLC. But Monty's intentions aren't known completely. We also don't know if he's lying to us. He might not be a singular god. He might not be a good god. So those are things we also have to keep in mind during this. So I hope that made some sense. If it didn't, many more theory videos will be coming out to explain it all. I hope you guys did enjoy. I love breaking out the whiteboard to explain this stuff. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Tell me all your thoughts about the Monty stuff. I'll have tons of breakdowns and tutorials coming. I'm working on them all, but it's, you know, slow going. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Thank you so much to our Patreon supporters who make these videos possible, especially Kingdom Hops, Beefy, Brian, 117, Logan, and Davo. On screen, you can check out more Go Ride Crovey videos. You can check out Dr. Monty Quotes and Go Ride Crovey Ending Explained, raw footage of the boss fight if you just want to experience it yourself, and the ending cutscene. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have absolutely wonderful days. Bye!